Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're back over on the YouTube account, giving an update for the Abyssal Expedition or the Vault of Time, answering a lot of questions, also throwing out some tips and tricks for this game mode. So remember, within the Abyssal Expedition, the last video, we came in here, we started this event, we are pushing to get tier 3s. As you can see right now, we have 25 tier 3s. And the first tip that I'm going to offer you is when it comes to Blessed Relics, do not buy these with essence as soon as you get the essence. Now, the chances are when you're going through and you're taking all of these settlements that you're going to be awarded with a bunch of relics like this. That means you're not using your essence to buy relics, or you're not building relics that you already got for free. The only time that we do this, and this is a reason why you can see we have 4,600 essence. The only reason that I use the essence is once you log in, if you are planning to make progression, that is the time to use the essence with the blessed relics that you got, equipping what blessed relics you can use, and then of course buying the other blessed relics to get a title. And really getting a title is the only reason why I would recommend using or buying some of the blessed relics versus using or getting them naturally. Now you'll notice here that we have a tier 4, we have a lot of tier 3s. This is how I built it. This is exactly where we want it to be. Getting roughly 2,500 essence an hour, so pretty good. Now, one part that we got stuck is you can see right here, we have 54K of 34K. We have about 20,000 essence until we do finish Baron level and getting to Viscount. Now, of course, this is the way, and it's over here somewhere. This is the way that you make progression, not only getting a tile limit increase, but also getting an increase for the heroes that you have in there. Now remember, we went through Squire, we went through, I believe it was Knight, we went through, now we're into Baron, and then we're looking at Viscount to getting into, so getting and leveling up 4 single times within the first day. Right now it is T-minus probably about 19 hours since we started, going on 20 hours since we have started the Abyssal Expedition. If I would have went and picked up a couple more tier 4s, we would be well ahead of schedule for where we are. But as you can see, based on the numbers itself, we are not going to be able to get that 20,000 essence. It's going to take us another 10 hours to get to 54, which means we're going to be a little bit over our goal. Now, a way to do this, and this is very tip number 2, is you have the ability to sell blessed relics, but when you sell them, you are selling them at a reduced cost. So when we go in here and you look at the bag itself, a lot of players might have not known you can actually sell these relics. Now, the essence received right here, 2280. When you're selling these relics back, you do get the essence back. The essence does count towards the progression here. This is a way that a lot of players coming in here, they will sell every single relic that they get, every blessed relic that they get. That is not for the primary classification that they're going for, making it really, really imperative. So even if we go in here, and I want to show you kind of what we mean, right here, we're at 34,923. So if I hop in here and we have, I want to save this one, but we have a Might relic right here. You can see this is Might. If you're unfamiliar with them, I'm going to go ahead and sell this. We get 2280, which means we have a little bit of a bump there. That 2280 gives us 3720 over here. So we were at 34. As you can see, this is going to make us and help us level up a lot faster. If you think about that, so selling that relic itself just pretty much cut an hour off of the Vault of Time experience, waiting for that essence and giving me the ability to actually come and get into Viscount later. Now, what's going to happen though, once you start getting into another level, and again, this is going to be tip number 3, when you start getting into another level, you are going to need all of these. There is a point within the Abyssal Expedition that you have to get every class up to level 3. So I'm going to use those blessed relics. There's also a point when you have to get every class up to level 4. So again, we're going to be using those blessed relics. But the return is, if I'm selling them now like we were, even looking here, if I go ahead and I sell this one, that's going to give us another 1,500. If I sell this one, that's going to give us another 2,300. That is, again, cutting another hour off of where we are within the Abyssal Expedition. So looking here, that takes us to 41 of 54. So we have about another 4 hours instead of 10 hours to actually get it. Now, the last one we know right here, which is Fury's Call. That is tied to the tank tree, is actually tied right here. You can see the Fury's Call is in there. So I could actually save that one for a little bit. But again, if I wanted to go ahead and I wanted to sell that, getting another 2,000, we'd be looking at 4,300. So again, we'd have about 4 more hours to get this done. Now, in addition, when you look at the bosses and you look at the gate bosses, this is tip number 4. If you're farming out the gate bosses, they offer a lot of essence. Now, for larger guilds like mine, when you look at the gate boss, we got right here and you can see some green. The gate boss was literally just killed by, I believe, 1 or 2 players. They do more than enough damage on a larger account to actually just completely ransack the gate boss. I am not at Viscount right now, so even though you can see here on the map that players are starting to move through here, they're going to the different gates. 1, 2, 3 different gates that we have to go to. They are moving in here because they've already leveled up. I have to wait for essence, which I do not like having to wait for essence, but ultimately, is it worth it to go in and just really sell that last relic? Now, the question is, again, within the hour, so we know we're going to have to wait a couple more hours. So if we wait 4 more hours, we are going to hit our goal. We are going to be on Viscount on the first day, making a lot more progression. But also, within that 4 hours, it is going to give us the ability to get more teams. And of course, when you fill out your slots, I want to go through, show you the secondary boss team that we did add in here. So if you remember, right here was our Gwen comp. We put them in here. We knew exactly what they were going to be used for. And this is tip number 4, guys. When you unlock everything in here, make sure you're slotting the boss team. Even right here, this is the awakened version of Leica. We have Antandra in here. We have Shuna. We have Aurelia, and we do have the twins. This is going to be boss comp number 2. This is a formation that we are only going to use for bosses. We are not going to use it anywhere else. This is going to be, again, accumulating, as you can see, stamina. And this is going to be, so both of these teams are going to be used. Remember, this first is the pathing. Now, the final tip in here, tip number 5, making sure with your pathing heroes that you don't use some of them. Now, I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by this because there is a methodology behind this. So when you think of the classification that we chose, we actually chose to go tank, meaning when you look at this very top level right here, I have Naruko, I do have the awakened version of Lucius, I have Chimera. Those are my tanks. You'll also notice that I put Brutus in here. I did put the awakened version of Athalia in here. Now, neither of those heroes are going to work at all yet. That is something to remember. They are not going to work yet. In the future, those are going to be some of the pathing heroes that I'm going to use. And what you need is the relic soul. There's a point, which I believe it is Viscount, where you do get a relic soul. It will actually pop right up here. It'll say the relic soul. The relic soul allows you to transfer or give one hero within formation your highest level of blessed relics that you have. So right here, we're on level 3. With the relic soul, I can actually give that max out relics or however high I have these relics built to another player through the relic soul or through another hero through the relic soul. And that is exactly where these 2 heroes are going to come in. So at the point that I can equip the relic soul on them, when you start thinking of tier 5 where you need 2 teams or even higher tier like a 7 and 8 where you need 3 teams, this is going to make up the rest of my team. Meaning, if I'm building out the tanks, we know Naruko, we know Chimera, and we know Lucius are going to have really high spec relics. Then through that relic soul, Brutus and Athalia are also going to have them built. Now, it will come to a point where with the combination of the relic soul, I might run something like the awakened version of Lucius with Athalia to take down some of the really big camps, or even running, let's say like a Brutus with Chimera or vice versa. But you do have some utility in here. So I have a hero like Naruko that I can use in formations, or I can use to path, or I have the heroes in here that I can actually use for a lot of different things. And overall, these heroes are going to make a big difference. Now, of course, once we get to the final boss, these heroes will be totally unslotted. Once we are set with our settlements, once we know exactly what we're keeping, these will be unslotted and another boss team will start the accumulation of stamina at that point. So we'll actually dump pretty much all of the stamina, pathing, picking up tiers, picking up different places to essentially bring this to 0. Because remember, when we remove a hero, it is going to go to 0 instinctually. And then, of course, building out the rest of these are going to be the boss team. So this is boss team number 2 that you're dropping in there. Now, also, team number 1, team number 2, team number 3, the pets have already started to accumulate their pet energy. And of course, we know we only have 2 boss teams in there. We have the Panda Dumpty, and then we do have our Dragon Raid here. They are already set in formations. They are, again, team number 1, team number 2, beast number 1, beast number 2. Beast number 3 is already slotted in here and waiting for the third team essentially to be put in here when we unlock this in the future. So again, we have a couple more hours on this to actually unlock. So we can go to Viscount and then we'll start pushing through Viscount and then also getting into the tier 5s. Now, when you do, and I'm going to leave this as a bonus tip, this is tip number 6, guys, is when you start doing the leapfrog. Now, what we mean by the leapfrog is when it comes to these settlements themselves, you want to take your tier 3s to a 5s. You want to take your tier 4s to a 6. You want to leapfrog 2 levels. I don't want to go ahead and take all of these 3s, drop the 3s to pick up 4s, drop the 4s to pick up 5s. You want to go at least 2 levels in its entirety when you're making progression in here, because that is the only way it is going to be beneficial for the stamina utilization that you have in here, is leapfrogging those 2 levels. And of course, a lot of players were wondering why, when I look at a one like a green, like a tier 3, is it red? Guys, this is based on martial ratings. This is based on your player level. So the higher or lower your player level is going to increase your difficulty. Even looking at my heroes right here, they are level 337. It's because my player level is 970. So when you transition, every 10 levels is 1 single level in here. 337 is a pretty high level, again, based on player level, or excuse me, hero levels at 970. That is the transition on how strong these heroes are. So if you're going in here and some of the expedition or some of these settlements are red or are a higher level, it is because it is based on the level that you have with outside of the hero or the expedition, which I'm at 971 right here. That transmutes into a lot more power in the Abyssal expedition. So all right, guys, so that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and as always, thank you guys for watching.